Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas used his address to the United Nations General Assembly to say that the actions of Israel were putting at risk the chance of a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict. And he said that Palestinians would rescind their recognition of Israel unless it withdrew from the West Bank, Gaza and East Jerusalem within 1 year. Now, tensions have been high in that region, particularly since the 11-day conflict in May earlier this year. There was no immediate response from Israel to the comments of the Palestinian president today, but we are expecting a representative of Israel to address the General Assembly here before the end of the high-level week. And of course, Israel under new leadership for the first time in more than a decade after Naftali Bennett succeeded Benjamin Netanyahu as Prime Minister. Another interesting debate taking place at the UN today. It was a high-level panel meeting on girls' education in Afghanistan. Now, since the Taliban took over the country in August, they have placed restrictions on the access to education for girls and women. That meeting attracted a number of women's rights campaigners, including Malala Yousafzai, who addressed the meeting.
What needs to be done is that the international community must take this matter seriously. This is a commitment that the UN has made, that they are there to work for the protection of, human dignity of a human person. So now is the time that we stick to that commitment and ensure that the rights of Afghan women are protected.
Also taking place at the UN today, a high-level dialogue on energy, and the Secretary-General said this was the first time in 40 years that the issue had been debated at this event. He said that 760 million people still do not have access to electricity around the world, and he set a number of targets. He said that figure should be halved by 2025. He said output from solar and wind power should quadruple by 2030. He called for the building of no more coal-fired power plants after the end of this year, and he said all countries should commit to phasing out their reliance on those by 2040. Now, through the day, we've heard from a number of activists, academics, world leaders and private companies discussing ideas on how to achieve those targets. And the UN says $400 billion of new investment and finance has already been pledged. Sarah Walton, CGTN, New York.